attorneys, I decided to go undercover and look at some of the comments you guys have on Reddit regarding non-attorney salespeople. It tends to be a topic that's very new age. It's a new concept to many law firms. And I just wanted to see what everyone in the community thinks of it as a common consensus. So this person here, ElderberryAnnie 1806, asked this question. I've been to a few masterminds and stumbled across a few websites and companies that pitch the idea of non-attorney salespeople who handle calls and sales, some of which even make offers to help hire, onboard, and train such a person. First off, hello, that's us. We are a mastermind program that recommends using non-attorney salespeople, and we actually recruit, train, onboard, and find non-attorney salespeople for your law firm. So you wanted to figure out if this is something you could implement, if it's worked for other people, right? It would be my dream to get those calls off my calendar, not because you hate doing them, because you're slammed and you no longer have the capacity. And obviously a salesperson would open up a full day of consultations. So why would you choose to use a non-attorney salesperson versus maybe an attorney salesperson when it comes to your consultations? If you train your attorney salesperson to sell and to be able to do this really well, and they start to understand the business, a non-attorney salesperson can't walk out with a fistful of clients and open their own firm tomorrow. Why? Because as of right now, still in most states, non-attorneys cannot own a law firm. Whereas with an attorney stepping in, them learning the sales process, you're effectively training your competition if they decide at any point in time they want to walk out the door with a fistful of cases and start and open their own law firm. A non-attorney salesperson has two functions. One, turn as many prospects into clients as possible. Two, depending on your practice area, maximize the amount of money down during the initial consultation and shrink the time on payment plan. Those are their two primary goals. And so you asked, is this possible and does it happen? Absolutely, 100% it's possible. You nailed the exact reason that most law firm owners decide that it's time to bring on a non-attorney salesperson, which is you're at capacity, meaning you're already so chewed up with all of the other work that you need to get done that running consults, you don't actually hate doing them, which is great, but you don't have much time for them. And it sounds like you've made the decision that you do want to grow, which means you are now about to embark on the next phase. Once you choose to hit this phase, now you're actively choosing growth, which means from 1.5 to about 3 to 3.5 million, this is going to be a tough zone because this is the point where you usually make the decision, okay, I want to bring on a non-attorney salesperson. And so if that's you and you're in that position, bringing on a non-attorney salesperson is absolutely an incredible decision. Why? Well, you addressed one of these things already in your Reddit post, which is a non-attorney salesperson. They're a trained specialist for the role of turning more prospects into clients, and their sole focus is running consultations for you. So if you do a 30-minute consult with a 15-minute buffer to allow enough time to run the consultation, and then that 15-minute buffer to make sure a non-attorney salesperson is not showing up late constantly to the next, or if they have any wrapping work they need to do to run the order, send out the agreement, take notes, or even overcome objections still, they have the time to do that. They can run 50 consultations per week for your law firm. Now, obviously, a non-attorney salesperson needs to be trained adequately. You need to find the right person, make sure they can deliver the script and structure that's required. Obviously, cannot give legal advice, and then make sure they have ongoing training. That being said, you can bring them in and they instantly open the capacity. We've worked with now over 1,000 law firms in doing this, and it's very much possible. We expect at least the non-attorney salespeople that we place and train to close somewhere between 60 to 80% of your qualified consultations that show up into paying clients. I know you mentioned it would be a dream if you can make this happen. I would tell you that this is not only something you can dream of, it is absolutely a reality available to you. Most law firms get tripped up with the idea of a non-attorney salesperson running consultations. What we recommend is we move the line in which we give legal advice. So a lot of attorneys wrap legal advice into their consultation. What we're suggesting is let's remove legal advice from the consultation. The consultation should be used to learn more about the prospect's situation and story, build an emotional relationship and trust, and show them a path to how we can help solve the problem that they're going through and invite them to take the next step. And that's the role of a non-attorney salesperson. The next step should be an onboarding. That should be like a legal vision meeting strategy session where they're going to have an onboarding now with the legal team. This is where the legal advice can happen. And if you decide during onboarding that that's not the type of client you want to take on, simply refund them and move on, right? And so onboarding now becomes a filter for you to not only set expectations for the new client, but to also make sure it's a client you want to take on and can take on. So the dream you talked about of having a non-attorney salesperson step in, be able to take a full calendar of consults, run those consults, convert them into clients without you needing to be involved at a tune of 60 to 80%. That is not just a dream. That is an absolute reality that happens day in and day out. We work with hundreds of non-attorney salespeople every week, and we work with a lot of law firms every single week on helping them achieve just that. So if that is something you are interested in and want to learn a little bit more about, you could go to nonattorneysalespeople.com. We've got some info over there. Otherwise, if you have some follow-up questions or you'd like me to answer some additional questions about how non-attorney salespeople work, I've been doing this for the last 6 years, working exclusively with law firms. I started as a non-attorney salesperson. I've either coached, conducted, listened to, at this point, tens of thousands of initial consultations. And we've narrowed things down into a proven science that works repeatedly to make sure you have consistent results as a law firm. So I'm here to answer any questions you've got, but I figured as I was scouring the world of Reddit and seeing what other attorneys think about non-attorney salespeople, which, by the way, in that thread was, for the most part, well received. Other firms had some concerns about it and how they deliver it, but it's all about the setup of the non-attorney salesperson, how we go about finding them, how we go about training them, the script and structure they use, the management and oversight that's provided. All of these are essential parts of being able to plug them in and get them to start performing. So I hope this video was insightful, helpful, and at the very most inspirational to you, to let you know that this is absolutely possible and a path forward for you. If you enjoyed, go ahead and drop a like down below or comment if you have any questions.